March 20th, 2024 meeting of the Wheaton Park District Board of Commissioners. Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Pacharich.
Here.
Commissioner Me.
Here.
Commissioner Barrett.
Here.
Vice President Vires.
Here. President Kelly is traveling, so I'll be presiding for him today. We'll start with presentations, and we have good old Dan Leahy from Western DuPage Special Rec. To
Good young Dan Leahy.
Good old Dan.
Good old. Take exception. No. Thank you, Commissioner. Always enjoy coming out to Wheaton, as I do all our member districts, and really highlighting the great work that our organization does for individuals with disabilities, as well as how we work with your staff, and we collaborate with your facilities and your amenities for inclusive experiences, just for recreational equity for all populations. So with that said, most of this presentation is a little look back at 22-23, but we'll give you a little update on current state of affairs. You might have heard from Mike, or if you attended the bash, we suffered a pretty catastrophic flood back in October. We're well on our way to getting back in our building, but it will probably still be summer. The good news in all of this, and you can see some of the pictures there, our programs and events weren't interrupted or affected at all. Our families got to continue enjoying our programs because, again, they're in all of your spaces, really. We had one day program that operated out of this facility in Carroll Stream Park District, where our administrative headquarters are, reached out very quickly, gave us a room, and we've enjoyed that room since. So that day program, which runs 5 days a week from 9 to 2, again, unaffected. So we've been doing a lot of coordination with PDERMA, still waiting on some engineering reports, and I've learned a lot more about bids and facility management than I ever wanted to know. I went into SRAs, I got out of facilities, but not quite. So some of the highlights of the things that we do here in Wheaton. Obviously, we have another Rec and Roll Day program that started in 2018. Again, for those who might not be aware, that serves individuals aged 22 and up after they've aged out of our educational system. We offer a lot of programming at all of your sites: theater, drama club, social camp. Summer camp's very active here, as well as trying to meet the many inclusion requests that we get from the community. Play for All Foundation board member. I've enjoyed being on that board for the last 2.5 years and continue to really support that mission and do what we can as partners. This past holiday season, we had a Wedzra team volunteer at Cantini to help drive the Luring Foundation match, and really had fun with that. We partner on Sensory Garden Play Days. The Charlie Long Classic Golf Outing, which is just in a couple months here. We're about to send out invitations for that. We have 3 very active foundation board members, and we're always happy to do disability awareness with the Wheaton Park District or here in the community if you know a need for that. Really also just want to stress that in general, whether it's the staff, this board, sponsorship of the bash, Wheaton is super supportive, so essential to what we do. So for the foundation and the association, just want to say thank you. You're very visible with our team. Director highlights, as I finished my 3rd year, not going to go through all these bullets, but I see Mike a lot of the same functions: legislative conferences, NRPA, IPRA, trying to enhance my knowledge and learn. Again, 3 years in, I still have a ways to go. I'm very active on the foundation side. Our foundation raises about $700,000 a year for the association mission. Again, you guys, all our member districts are key to that, but I play a large role in that too. Trying to meet with our partners in education to drive awareness of WD and guide families to us, and really meet with more SRA directors to see what issues they're dealing with, what trends they're seeing in the population, how they're managing inclusion, which is exploding, just really for best practices for all of our communities. Bunch of numbers here. In plain terms, WD programs, which are the ones that we designed from the ground up for people with disabilities, they tend to find us or come back to us later in life. They're older because once they're done getting support in the school system, they come to WD, and then many times we have them for 20, 30 years. On the inclusion side, it's kind of the opposite. We get them younger. A family gets a diagnosis. They're looking for support. They want their individual to have experiences that are successful, that maybe help them in school or other aspects of life. So we see them in that 2 to 12 bracket. In terms of our WD program registrations and the inclusion requests, Wheaton, for being our 2nd most populous town, is right in line with what you would expect. Just a note on the foundation, very quickly, we talked about this at the bash. Other than, raising funds for one-off support of our mission, one of the things they're chasing right now is a scholarship endowment fund. If they can hit a $750,000 level, the idea is to fund in perpetuity the average scholarship request that we see at WDSRA. So financial aid, we get requests of about $30,000 a year. So as we work towards that large number, once we hit it, the idea is the principal, the return, we can peel that off and continue to support financial aid, and then even be more creative in how we help our households. Just to highlight one of those, to bring the mission down to the personal story, we have a family here who has 3 individuals that are on the spectrum with different levels of need, and the caretaker, Helen, we hear this all the time. She can't meet all the needs of transportation and everything else and fully pay for all the WD programs. So the financial aid really helps her have quality of life, helps her individuals find community, find meaningful things to do. And that's so essential. The foundation believes in that because we know that special needs families, oftentimes, they're going to be one-income families because one person is, I don't want to say just a caretaker, but they're transporting people. They're dealing with odd schedules. There's therapies, just a lot of different needs that come into that world. So working towards the endowment, and we'll see where that goes. What's next? Really, the priority is on our building recovery plan, getting back in the building, making continued progress on our strategic plan, updating the board, Mike and his peers on how we're going to continue our improvement. And I'd like to highlight in 2026, WD will celebrate 50 years in the community. So we look forward to being creative with our member districts, trying to get some visibility and eyes and celebration of what that means and what that looks like for your staff, your families, and your community at large. So with that said, take any questions or feedback.
Anybody?
Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Yes.
I was traveling, unfortunately, for the recent bash. Was it a good turnout?
Yes, the total number of people in the room, I think, was an all-time high. I think we had 408 if they all showed, and then we're looking at about $190,000 to $200,000.
Nice work.
Which, that would be our second highest total ever, second to last year. But we had some other factors that played into last year. But
Well,
thanks, we had a great event.
I guess you're doing something continually right.
Well, people believe in the mission.
Thanks, man.
For sure. Thank you.
Well, I was at the event and it was fantastic. And I think what's most valuable for people who attend is to see the people who you're helping at the event and how they're engaged with everyone and they're greeting people when you come in. And for anybody who's watching this here or at home, I would strongly encourage you to attend this event if you can, because when there's that paddle raise, you just want to raise your paddle all the time because you want to give, because it's such a worthwhile program. So kudos to you and your staff and everyone who put together that event and everything that you do, because it's very inspirational. And there are a lot of people who would not be in a good place without people working so hard like you. So thank you, Dan.
Thanks. No, I really appreciate that. The most fun I had of the whole night was the off-script stuff on stage with our participants. We didn't really know where that was going to go, but it was awesome. So
It was
thank
great.
you. I appreciate that.
Anybody else? Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so
for
much.
coming,
Good to
Dan.
see you all. Yep.
All right, the next presentation is from good young Lucy Vasquez, our manager at Arrowhead Golf Course Restaurant.
Hello and good evening. My name is Lucy Vasquez, and I am one of the restaurant managers at Arrowhead. I hope everyone is having a great start to spring, even though the weather doesn't really look like it. I am honored to be able to speak with you today with all the exciting things happening at Arrowhead. Our restaurant and banquets team are working together to make Easter brunch magical. The menu for Easter is looking delicious. On April 19th, we are having live music starting up again in the restaurant from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. We are looking forward to not only having live music again, but our cooking classes on the back patio this summer. Our new restaurant menu will start on April 8th, and I expect nothing but smiles from this menu. We are filling up on wedding dates fast, but still have some dates available. call the banquets and catering team, and they will be more than happy to help. Our golf season started March 1st with the golf course and driving range opening up. Golfers are excited to start their permanent tee times, which goes from the last weekend in April to the last weekend in August. Our first in-house golf event is the Kickoff Classic, which is April 20th. We would like to also welcome Jack Grenath to our Arrowhead team. Jack is our new assistant golf pro. Welcome to the team, Jack. In addition to all the great things happening at Arrowhead, we would like to thank Andy and Bruce for all their time and dedication they have given to the Arrowhead and Wheaton Park District. For the last 17 years, Andy has been mentoring us on how to give 5-star service and to really care about our guests. For 40 years, Bruce has shown us how to stay calm with golf outing pressure and to just do our best. We will miss them both. Thank you.
That was easy, huh? Don't run away because we still have an annual report to talk about, don't we?
Yes.
Anybody with questions for Lucy?
I'm going to save my
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank
to the
you.
report.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Margie, do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
Just one.
Okay, we have one signed up, Jeff Westergaard. If you would approach the mic, and if you could, please keep your comments to 5 minutes or fewer.
Thank you. I will attempt to do so. Good afternoon. My comments today are going to be a review of the November 29th meeting in which you, Mr. Vyers, gave an impassioned statement billed as, quote, an overview of Park District taxes. That was in response to a mailer I had sent out in November of last year. Unfortunately, rather than having a frank discussion of Wheaton Park District taxing practices, you chose to attempt to convince anyone listening that the Wheaton Park District is, quote, a frugal board, a board aligned with the taxpayers. And as I think everyone will see, this claim is not factually objective. At the 523 mark of your speech, you acknowledged that, quote, our tax rate is among the highest in DuPage County, something that is unequivocally true. Then you spend the next 5 minutes, or few minutes, excuse me, trying to rationalize why this is the case. The key argument seems to be that you are forced to tax at the rate that is so high because of the tax cap legislation that was passed by the state in the early 90s. But this ignores the fact that it's entirely within your power to lower taxes. I won't call it a lie, but it's an extremely misleading statement. You also trumpet the fact that the retirement of the 2005 bonds resulted in a huge drop in taxes between 2021 and 2022. Something true. But as it almost always does, the board has now raised taxes with the 2023 levy. So taxes are going back up. A 1-year drop in tax rates or tax amounts does not equate to frugal management. At the 320 mark, you criticize other park districts for rolling over bond issues, but you completely fail to mention that this board, year after year after year, issues debt service extension bonds. And if you read the ordinances, they are never for a specific purpose. If you read the board minutes over the last 8 years, the conversation is almost entirely about, if we don't issue this debt, will we lose the opportunity to do so next year, which of course is true. So issuing continues from 1.6 million in 2016 to 2.05 million in 2023. None of those facts, I think, add up to a frugal board. But the real story, I think, becomes worse when you closely examine Wheaton Park District's finances compared to peers. So in this mailer, which I'm sure all of you have had a chance to examine, I compare Wheaton Park District to 2 peers that I think are extraordinarily similar, Elmhurst and Downers Grove Park Districts. I think, in fact, any logical, objective person would look at the numbers here and they would say, yes, these 3 suburbs are, in fact, very similar, and in DuPage County, they are far and away the most similar suburbs. So what do we see? We would, I think, looking at per capita income, where Elmhurst is the highest, Wheaton is the lowest, but everything's within 6% of the average of the three. Or if we look at assessed property valuation, where again, Elmhurst is highest, Wheaton is lowest, all within 5% of the average, that logical, objective person would conclude, well, then finances would also be similar, but they would be very wrong. If we look at the property taxes collected, and I am using 2016 to 2022, as I've done previously when discussing with you your finances, the cumulative collected property taxes by Wheaton Park District is 198% of Downers Grove and 191% of Elmhurst. You collect twice as much property taxes as these two suburbs. Why? If we look at the percentage of tax revenue, maybe Wheaton Park District is relying on property taxes to a much greater degree than these other two suburbs. That's not the case. Wheaton Park District percentage of tax revenue to total is 70%. Elmhurst 63, Downers 60. You're the highest, but not by a great deal. If we look at spending, total spending, Wheaton Park District is 154% of Downers, 151% of Elmhurst, 1.5 times both of these comparable suburbs. If I look at covered payroll as a proxy for total payroll, and of course covered payroll has implications in terms of future OPEB liabilities, Wheaton Park District, 223% of Downers, 159% of Elmhurst. So where is all that extra money going? Well, one place it clearly is piling up is your cash and investments balance. Because at the end of that period in 2022.
Mr. Westergaard, you're at 5 minutes. Could you wrap it up, please?
Sure. I'll leave it at that. I urge you to do the following. Stop issuing debt service extension bonds. Stop raising taxes because you don't need more money. Stop wasting taxpayer money on needless projects like the Cosley parking lot, and put a plan in place to lower taxes and bring them in alignment with peers. And lastly, start engaging more closely with your constituents. Ask what they want. Work collaboratively. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Somebody have a motion for the consent
I
agenda?
will do so. I will move to approve the consent agenda, items A through D, starting with A, approval of the disbursements totaling $933,879.04 for the period beginning February 14, 2024 and ending March 12, 2024. B, approval of disbursements totaling $530,394.36 for the period beginning February 14, 2024 and ending March 12, 2024. C, approval of the special meeting minutes dated March 6, 2024, and approval of the board meeting minutes of February 21, 2024.
Second.
So we have a motion by me and a second by Pacharich. Any discussion? Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. Let's move on to new business. Item number 1. Does somebody have a motion ready?
I move to approve the amended and updated Wheaton Park District Safety Policy, Procedures, and Crisis Management Plan.
Second.
So we have a motion by Pacharich and a second by Barrett. Any discussion?
Just to Mike, I know there was a lot of work involved, so thanks for the update.
Staff did a nice job providing the updates, and we appreciate it.
Anybody else? Okay, Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. New business item number 2. Does somebody have a motion ready?
Motion to approve a 3-year agreement with JBR Fundways for Carnival Services for the Cream of Wheaton, July 3rd, and Pumpkin Fest at Cosley Zoo for the 2024-2026 seasons.
Second.
So we have a motion by Barrett, second by me. Is there any discussion?
Just a comment that JBR has done a good job for us for quite a while now.
Sir, that's true.
Anything else? All right, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. All right, item number 3. Does somebody have a motion ready?
I move to approve a 3-year agreement with RKM Fireworks Company as our July 3rd fireworks vendor for the 2024 to 2026 seasons.
Second.
So a motion by Pacharich and a second by Barrett. Any discussion?
To be a new vendor, so we'll look forward to what they offer us.
Understand the old vendor is out of business now?
He's retired and closed up shop, so
Okay.
it was a choice.
And he's
Wasn't anything that happened?
No.
At the fireworks.
endorsing
All right, thank goodness.
RPM, right, Mike?
That's true, as well as a number of other communities who've used their services. They had very, very strong references.
Cool.
All right, Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. Okay, item number 4, does somebody have a motion?
Motion to approve the 2024 special event sound and lighting proposal from Hi-Fi Events in the amount of $27,800.
Second.
So we have a motion by Barrett and a second by Pacharich. Any board comment?
None for me.
Nope. Okay. Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. Item number 5, does somebody have a motion ready?
I would move to approve the 2024 Athletic and Recreation Program Services Independent Contractor Agreement amounts resulting in the expenditures over $19,999.
Second.
So we have a motion by me and a second by Barrett. Any discussion? All right, can we do that by a voice vote? No?
Roll call.
Roll call? All right, roll call, Mike.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. Item number 6, right? We're on item number 6.
Yep.
So we have a motion.
I move to approve the purchase of the following equipment through the National Intergovernmental Purchasing Alliance administered by Omnia, contract number 2017025. 2 Toro Greensmaster Triflex Hybrid 3320 mowers at a cost of $100,653.21. 1 Toro Greensmaster Triflex Hybrid 3320 mower at a cost of $59,458.62. The total cost for the 3 mowers with setup and delivery is $163,314.06.
Second.
So a motion by Pacharich and a second by me. Any discussion?
That Purchasing Alliance has been working out pretty well, hasn't it, Mike?
Yes, it has. Golf course has been using it for a number of years now. I think
Thanks.
I believe around 10.
Good.
All right, Mike, call the roll.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. Item number 7, does somebody have a motion ready?
I'd move to approve the purchase of the following equipment through the State of Illinois Cooperative Purchasing Program. 3 items, a 2024 Ford F-250 pickup truck for $50,000.58. I'm sorry, $50,058. The other one, next one is a 2024 Ford F-250 crew cab for $53,798. And finally, a 2024 Ford F-350 crew cab dump truck for $69,538.
Second.
So a motion by me and a second by Barrett. Is there any discussion?
When will we get these, Mike?
You know what? I don't know the exact delivery date, but I can check and respond back to the entire board.
Well, sometime in 2024, huh?
Oh, yes.
Cool. That's all I need to know.
All right, Mike, call the roll.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. Item number 8, does somebody have a motion?
Motion to approve change order number 1 from the WT Group for $3,200.
Second.
A motion by Barrett and a second by Pacharich. Any discussion? And this is to include the new building that we purchased over on Blanchard there within the...
Correct, within the Americans with Disabilities Act audit of all of our facilities and land.
Okay. Can we do a voice vote on this?
Yes.
So we'll do voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, does somebody have a motion ready?
I move to approve change order number 3 in the amount of a negative $68,112.52. So that's a deduction with Stuckey Construction.
Second.
So we have a motion by Pacharich and a second by Barrett. Any discussion?
Nice reduction.
And that's due to the change, right, Mike? Because we weren't able to do something in the locker room with the spa.
Correct. Originally, the spa shells were going to be replaced as an alternate within the existing, within the contract. And it turned out that we were not going to be able to do that through some commentary from the Illinois Department of Public Health. So we're leaving the existing shells in place and finishing the construction around them,
Okay,
resulting in the deductive alternate.
all right, thank you.
Or deductive change, excuse me.
Voice vote, or can we do on this? Yeah. This is a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, under new business, somebody have a motion?
Motion to approve the additional services proposal from Williams Architect in the amount of $7,550.
Second,
Motion by Barrett and a second by Pacharich. Any discussion?
I'll just identifying that as a community center rehab project, Phase 2.
Any further discussion?
We will be, through this additional services proposal will involve Williams assisting us in specifying and putting to bid a rather large furniture package to complement the renovations in the community center and the office the development and the east wing of the bottom floor.
Okay. Any further discussion? This is a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, somebody have a motion ready?
I move to approve a contract with Engineering Resource Associates in the amount of $28,830 for civil engineering services related to the Central Athletic Complex, with the addition of $3,200 for a stormwater detention report if needed, and up to $1,000 for reimbursable expenses.
Second.
A motion by me and a second by Barrett. Any discussion?
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Mee?
Yes.
Vice President Vires?
Yes. Does it for new business. We'll move on to reports from staff. Mike, do you have anything?
Nothing to add, sir.
Okay, let's move on to the Arrowhead Golf Club report and commissioner comments. So I will open it up to anything you all want to talk about. Linda, you have anything?
Do you want to do the Arrowhead report first or both?
Whatever you want.
Either one, okay.
I'll skate.
Okay. All right. I did have a question. So I noticed that in January of last year versus January of this year at the CAC, the rental income was considerably lower this year than last year. I was just curious what the reason was for that.
Our travel basketball program blew up, and we hosted our own tournaments rather than renting out outside teammates. So the usage is there, and it's just within our own program.
Okay. Thank you. I'm taking a
Okay, since we seek to start with the staff reports, I'll save my additional comments for the.
Done.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you would.
Harry, do I need to gavel you?
Go for it.
I have tabs here today.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I see that we're restocking fish in Northside and Rathje ponds. So this is something new to me. I didn't know that we did this. So I'm just curious, when people go fishing, because I know we have fishing programs and camps and things. So if I were going to go fishing, how big of a fish am I going to catch, and can I take it home with me?
I can speak to how big of a fish you might catch. My young son Noah, about 12 years ago during the fishing derby, yanked a 26-inch catfish out of Northside Park Lagoon, and we've seen some decent-sized bass and a number of other species. I believe Commissioner Mee has pulled a couple of crappie out of there over his years with his grandson. So there's great fishing at Northside Park Lagoon, as well as a number of other sites within the park district.
How many fish are we buying? I'm just curious.
And I don't know the number, but it's not a small amount.
Oh, okay.
It's an annual stocking, and it's very well attended. I've been to it many years.
Awesome. All right. And my last question is, the Bow Ties and Tiaras event had about 200 people in attendance. I'm just curious, how many of those are Wheaton residents and how many are non-residents, or if you even distinguish between the two in registrations?
In registration, I would say most of them were Wheaton Park District residents. It filled up pretty quickly.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm done now, Terry.
Okay, sorry. Thought you were done before. Since Linda started with the regular staff reports. I'll save some other comments for the Arrowhead Golf Club annual report, but general comments regarding staff reports. Dan, once again, our athletic sports team registrations, in general, continue to increase over those of 2023. Our pool pass sales continue well. Thanks to Rob and staff for getting us through the winter, and preparing us for the spring. Our costly donations have continued during the previous month. And thanks to our generous donors, and finally for staff reports, considering the mild winter that we have, other than a short-term Arctic blast, how many days, if any, did we lose for the ice rinks? Any idea, Dan?
I can get that to you guys, it was substantial.
Well, that's enough. We lost quite a bit then? Okay. Yeah. Mother Nature rules every time. That's all I had for staff reports.
Bill, anything? I'd just like to make a quick comment about the Arrowhead report, which really shows a healthy institution that we have at Arrowhead that we're all very proud of. There are times when golf is a little bit more out of favor, and we kind of noticed that a little bit, maybe going back 8 years or so, and we saw the trend line going down. And the weird thing for us here at the Park District is that COVID-19 was like one of the best things that could have happened for golf, which it completely rejuvenated the desire for people to get outside and be somewhere where they could be in open space and have recreation that way. So we've seen the play increase dramatically since the COVID years, these last 3, and we're netting north of $1 million in each of those years, and that's important because that's funds that we can set aside then to keep Arrowhead what it is, which is best in class. It is competing with the very upper echelon golf courses in the region, which is really important for us from a pricing standpoint as well as an experience standpoint. We want people to want to go to Arrowhead as a special occasion and as their everyday golf place as well, and we're keeping it up to those standards. So tremendous effort by everybody involved there, and I have faith in the management process going forward. Particularly like to call out Andy and Bruce, who done a great job over the years in charge over there, and making sure that the organization, the institution was run extremely well. It has been. We have complete faith in Dan and Kim and everybody else going forward, that Matt and Andrew, that's going to happen going forward as well. So congratulations to everybody involved at Arrowhead. It's a really tremendous report that you guys presented to us. So. All right, on that, I think we are going to be adjourning and moving to executive session.
No, I held my comments.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. Linda, did you want to go for anything? Okay.
He's got
Just
more.
checking. Margie, great graphics on the report, as usual.
Yeah, I think we need to acknowledge Kim Prazak, who is the brains behind the compilation.
Okay,
of that
I thought
annual report
Margie's
you have.
staff put this together, but okay, I take it back. Never mind, Margie. Thanks, Kim. I want to, that historical reference, the welcome on page 4, it's excellent. I mean, that gives everybody a sense of, where we were and where we've been. That page, the staff photo and ID page, that's very helpful, in my opinion, to see everybody, get the names with everybody that does what they do, and they do it a great job. Paid rounds over 66,000 last year. It's a clear indication that, we're an excellent golf course, and, we're managed well by all of our golf staff. And, all I can say is that having played it many times, I think, our Vice President Virus mentioned that we are top class. Our driving range continues to be popular. We're making, we made additional monies this last year. Golf staff, thank you. And our special events and tournaments, I know that's a lot of work. It involves all of you. And certainly, Kim, I don't want to fail to address you, but it takes a lot of coordination to put on all these events, the special events, the constant outings that we have. So thank you for that. We didn't have much of a cross-country ski season this year, but we didn't either last year. I want to address though our restaurant. our restaurant staff, our banquet staff, our marketing staff, you put together a program that, sustains us over there. And I want to, thank Sean and Lucy and the rest of our restaurant, kitchen, banquets, and sales and marketing staffs, for making our facility a go-to place for food, beverage, parties, banquets, weddings, and many other scheduled events. As a matter of fact, we have another one tomorrow. It's being sponsored by First Trust. And, I know that having attended that in the past, that's going to be well attended, but our staff always does it. So last but not least, Neil, I have to mention you to keep us going. Neil's our engineer, and I want to thank Neil for being here and doing what he has to do all the time. And Neil, you can never retire. You know that, right? But as has been mentioned a couple times before, I'll finish with comments, about Andy and Bruce. Andy, great 17 years of service here, man. And I thought you'd never retire. Same with Bruce. Bruce, over 36 years. That's significant, but we're going to miss you guys. But I think you've left a hell of a legacy. And at the same time, I know that staff's going to carry on. They're going to make you proud and us proud. So thanks again and enjoy your retirements.
Anything else, anybody? One final comment, too, about Arrowhead is I neglected to mention one person who's our greenskeeper. And as everybody knows, our greens and our fairways and our golf courses like the most beautiful golf course in the western suburbs. And I can't tell you his name. We keep that a secret. We don't want anybody poaching him. So don't even ask. He does a good job. So, all right. So we're going to, I think, adjourn and move to executive session. Does somebody want to make a motion for that?
Sure. I'll move to adjourn our regular meeting and move to closed session under pending probable or imminent litigation under 5 ILCS 120/2 C11.
Mike, would you call the roll?
We need a second.
Second.
Oh, second.
Thank you, Linda.
Not a problem.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Vice President Fires?
Yes.
Thank you all.